Hello everyone. My name is Dana. I am from Divine Goddess Cards. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to be sharing two different projects using the new Dura-Lar prints. This is the Grungy Vibe set. To start off for the first project, I'm just going to go ahead and create just a simple ink smushed background, and I'm going to be using a couple different colors of Distress Oxide inks. This is a really simple and fun way to add just some quick color and a little bit of visual texture to a background. And of course you can do this in an art journal, on a tag, you know, any project that you have. And then I'm just going to ink around the edges just to give it a bit more of a grungy look. And this paper is cut to 5x5, so I'm just going to be making a simple square card today. And then for my first layering piece, I'm just going to color around the edges with a little bit darker of an ink. And that, of course, doesn't have to be perfect. We're going for grunge, and I didn't color in the center because that's going to be covered up. And then I created this piece just using a die from Sizzix, and it's colored in an embossing powder. And I'm going to adhere that to the background using some artist tack. I found this is the easiest way to glue any kind of intricate die cut that you have. So you just want to put it on the sticky side, put your paper over. Now with thin die cuts and with die cuts in general, the way that the wafer dies are designed is they kind of bevel the edges. So I found that if you flip it over and then run your brayer over it, it kind of flattens out those beveled edges a little bit, so the adhesive has a chance to adhere to more of the surface. And then you just peel the whole thing off, and now you have a sticker. I'm just going to line that up on my base piece here. It does not need to be perfect. I'm going to be trimming around the edges. There we go. And I'm going to mush that down. Now again, remember with artist tack, it is adjustable until you burnish it down. And then just because there's so many layers there of the die cut, I'm going to run across the back of it again with my brayer, just to make sure everything is good and adhered. There we go. And I'll just trim along the outside to get all the excess off. And save these little bits. These will make good embellishments later on for a different project. You never know when you might just need a little something extra. There we go. And then I'm going to grab my artist tack again, put that back on there, and then I'll glue that down to my first layering piece. And again, since it's a bit of a thicker piece, I'm just going to run along the back of it with my brayer. Then I'll line that up straight-ish on my background. There we go. And then I will repeat the process for my second layer. And one sheet of artist tack will definitely go quite a ways. Whenever you put big pieces on there, it doesn't grab all of the adhesive, so you'll still have some left behind for another project. Go. And then for the embellishments, I created this cute little wreath, and I'm going to layer over that with these adorable little shoes out of the Grungy Vibes set. And again, I'll adhere both of those with the artist tack. I'll put the shoes right on the center-ish of the wreath there. There we go. Just going to use a few of the sentiments out of this little sticker book that I have. So we'll do Believe in Yourself. We'll do Live Boldly down that side. And Create Happiness. Okay, so then the only thing left to do is put this on a card base, and you have a fun, pretty much any occasion card that you want. You just write whatever you want on the inside and make a fun handmade gift for anybody special. So I'm just going to have a bit of a cleanup, and then we'll move on to the next project. To start off for the second project, I'm going to be making an alcohol ink background. So I just took a piece of the Dura-Bright in white, and I cut it down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to be using neon alcohol inks. These alcohol inks you do need to shake, so just keep that in mind. And I'm just going to start off with a few drops of rubbing alcohol. And then a few drops of the neon. My goal is to kind of create like a rainbow-ish background. This would also work using the Dura Bright in black, or even the black. I can't talk today. The black craft plastic. That would also work really well for this. And these are very bright. The camera's probably not doing them justice. Actually, you know, cameras always want to kind of tone out neons. And then remember, with the Dura-Bright, you can just wipe it off. Just spray the whole thing down with a bit more rubbing alcohol, wipe it off, and you have a fresh new piece if you don't like what you've created. Oh. Gotta remember my rainbow order here. I just had to spell out the Roy G. Biv in my head. Ooh, that was a lot. That's all right. There we go. And then last but certainly not least, the purple. Purple is one of my favorite colors, so if we have a bit more purple, I don't mind. Okay, here we go. I like that. So I'm just gonna leave this as is, let it completely dry, and we'll come back for the next step. The main image that I'm gonna use is this one out of the Grungy Vibe set, but I'm gonna go ahead and put the whole thing on a piece of artist tack, just because I know that I will probably use the rest of them with a full piece, so. Or not the art, this is double tack, not artist tack. I'm just gonna trim up the edges a bit more with my trimmer. And then this way I can make sure that they're straight-ish. I'm not great at cutting a straight line with my hand. And then to adhere the panel onto my little black matting piece here, I'm just going to use a bit of artist tack. Line it up to the center-ish. There we go. And then I'll put my focal image right in the center. And here's the finished card. The only thing left to do is put this on a card base and you have a card ready for any occasion. And then here again is the first card that we created using the Dura-Lar Prints collections. Again, this is the Grungy Vibe set. If you're interested in any of the products that I use, there will be a supply list in the description box below. And thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you in the next one.